Hi. Welcome to Behind the MasterMinds, episode 22. And we're with Gruzzle with these two lovely ladies, but we'll get into that shortly. Let's get the raffle out the way, and then we can.
Yeah, then we get to our show. So our raffle is from episode 20 from Streamline Design BlueMatter Games, manufactured by PlayMonster, and it's their In Alcatraz game.
Here we go.
Those layers they have to peel open to find mystery.
Gotta peel it open, just like us right now. We're peeling it open. Who is it?
Yeah, it's Michelle.
Michelle.
Back in from
Society of Curiosities. Michelle, congratulations.
She's actually looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So our guests, very important. Let's get into it.
Okay, so today we have we have Vicki and Carolyn. They're a powerful mother and daughter team.
Another one.
Yes, another one. Behind the creations of Gruzzle, and Vicki is a teacher and an author. She loves solving puzzles and very organized and detail-oriented. I love organized and detail-oriented.
You have to be.
Yes. Carolyn's a software engineer, computer scientist, and mathematician. She loves solving and making puzzles and very creative and innovative in many ways. Gruzzle's first public venture in the puzzle creations. However, Carolyn has been creating puzzles for many years.
Yeah, we could tell.
Yeah. Getting to our first question, tell us, where did this inspiration for creating Gruzzles come about? I know you guys, I know you said Carolyn has been creating like puzzles for many years. What made you guys decide to take this to the next level?
Do you want me to start? Well, I'll tell you, it has been going on for a long time. First of all, I have a son and a husband, and all four of us have always been super involved in any clever mystery puzzles of all types. And so from when the kids were really small, we as a family had interest in all sorts of things that were puzzling. So we loved magic shows and special effects, whether they were at amusement park rides or in movies. We love doing unusual puzzles, not just jigsaw puzzles, but maybe 3D jigsaw puzzles or those foam jigsaw puzzles. Or one great one that we loved was one that was an apartment building with windows, and you put all the windows together. They were 4 pieces each, but then in order to decide where the windows went on the building, you had to read what the characters were saying and doing to figure out. It was as long as it was more than just a jigsaw puzzle.
Do you remember where that's from?
I know. I'm like, I want to try that.
I forget the name of that one. We had 2 of them.
I feel like they're definitely talking jigsaw puzzles. If you like Google talking jigsaw puzzles, I bet you'll find something. Maybe not 3D, but flat that has that concept.
It would say, like, the guy down there is making a lot of noise, and then you would have to find the puzzle with the guy on the drums, and you would know that went below. They were interesting.
And all the pieces fit, so you can't go by fit.
Right, the pieces were all the same size, so it had to be by.
Recently, we just played one from Mother Frankenstein by Hatch Escapes, and their jigsaw puzzle. I think you guys
would
like.
It was round.
Yeah, it's round.
Yes, we've done round ones. We have a couple of round ones. But we would go we're big special effects fans and science fiction fans and movie fans, and also Disney. We would go to Disney World and ride on the same attraction over and over to figure out how they did the special effects. A lot of their attractions have messages written in code on the walls that just sort of add to the flavor of the atmosphere of the ride, but actually they can be decoded, and we would get out of line and just stand there and decode these messages, and the people who worked there were always very nice and let us stand there and
wow. Yeah, I mean, that's not an excuse to go back. We're always down to go back to Disney, but now it's like even more.
Well, I'll tell you, the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. Great Stitch's Great Escape at Disney World. They have codes all over the walls.
We've been on those so many times.
Yeah, and you can decode them, and the people working there are quite willing to put up with it. We've been to lots of escape rooms in Seattle and New York and Virginia and New Orleans.
That's some good locations.
Probably the biggest thing though was computer games. When Carolyn was pretty small, we did Myst when it very first came out, and middle school, and that really hooked us. And we did all of the Myst games, Seventh Guest, Abduction,
X-File, Myst.
So many games.
So many.
And so we figured out, and now of course we have I don't know, Finders, Seekers, Escape the Crate, the Scarlet Envelope, the Conundrum Box.
It's been really fun.
Yeah.
We've got so many on the show.
Yes, so far.
But we discovered early on that there were only certain kinds of games that we liked. We definitely liked games with no instructions. We didn't want any avatars giving us advice. We just wanted to explore and figure it out. We took a lot of pride in not using hints.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times with Myst, we would stop because we were stumped, and we would spend a week just talking about it until we said, oh yeah, we should check that out. So we really tried not to use hints. We loved puzzles that had logic to their structure, so that even though it was really hard, when we were done, we went, oh, of course, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If it had that kind of ending, we liked it. So we already had that whole feeling about how to do things. And then the other part was that we were so different. I'm such an organized person and she's not. But it meant that when we did puzzles, some things I had no clue and she could just get them like that. So when we started thinking about all these things, we thought we want to make puzzles that did all of these things, that used a lot of different modalities, a lot of different topics, a lot of different types of puzzles, a lot of different ways of thinking. And we also noticed, as we started getting more of these at-home puzzles recently, that the ones that Carolyn had been making for 25 years for the family were as good and sometimes better than the ones we were getting, and we thought we should do something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't really mention there's like a running joke in the family that I always made people work for their birthday and Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
With like,
It's like
45 minutes of like wandering around looking for things.
yeah, you'll get rewarded once you figure it out on your own.
You did her puzzle last because it would take an hour or two, and she catered them to the individual, so that her dad's were always really easy and mine were always really hard.
She's saying she knows you're going to figure out too quickly, so she had to give you the harder version.
Yeah.
We want to give a shout out to another mother and daughter team.
Yeah, Angela's with us from Crack a Nut.
Yeah, and she said hi, and then I know that she her games are really great too. I don't know if you guys have tried. They have 3 currently.
Yeah.
So
we haven't tried them, no.
I feel
like we're just getting into the world. There's so many that are fun to try, and it's
there's so many. Yeah, definitely.
Really exciting.
So our second question is for you is, by the way, where have you used the puzzles you've designed in the past?
Kind of mentioned a little bit about it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, was it for private parties mainly, or like you said, for birthdays, but was it for family game nights? So does it feel more nervous designing a public game that you're putting out to the market versus ones that you design in secret? Like, it has to be.
It's definitely more nerve-wracking because goodness knows, my mom knows I can't spell. And there's like always spelling mistakes in my puzzles for the family. To be like, oh, you spelled this wrong, and it messes up the word search. Take it out. So definitely developing for other people is very nerve-wracking. But yeah, like I said before, we I feel like I used to get puzzles from mom, and then I sort of started making them. And they've gotten elaborate. It's also easier to develop a puzzle for someone you know, like you know what characteristics people like, and I could use sort of like pop culture references because people would know those references in your family.
Yeah.
So finding a way to make puzzles sort of tricky enough that you can't just glance at them and figure them out, but obvious enough that when you figure them out, you're like, oh yeah, okay, this is right. I know I'm right. I think that's hard.
I feel like that last, I'm not gonna ruin the surprise for people, but that last one that we did, the bonus part of it, the game, I was like, wow, I've never seen, a crossword design like this before. This is pretty crazy.
Like we were talking before about Mother of Frankenstein and that puzzle, we had to work backwards or kind of inside out. This, I felt like we had to work backwards, find out what it was, then work backwards to get to the original one that you would start with, supposedly.
Yeah. So for him, he loves the crossword. So that's why he's like, oh, I'm gonna jump on this one right away. So I feel like your game has one, like, something for everyone. Like somebody's gonna like this one, someone probably not gonna like the math, but then
well, my reaction was similar to that. It was like, oh, I'm gonna jump on this one. I got this one. Wait a second. Where are the rest of the clues? What am I looking at here?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's intentional.
Yeah.
So today we'll be focusing our interview on your second game, since that's the one we played, called The Will. So by the way, you guys, this is their newest game that's going to be shipping out November 2nd. So if you'd like to order it now till November 1st, they're giving you away 10% discount by using the code RUMORS.
Rumors. All lowercase.
Yeah.
It's case sensitive. And yeah, you have until November 1st.
Yeah, we wanted to know a little bit about the inspiration behind this. Like, how did the story come about?
So I'll tell you the story, and Carolyn can tell you about the game.
Okay.
When we decided we were going to have Gruzzle, we thought we can't just make up a puzzle every month or so. We have to really think ahead. So we started thinking about multiple plots, and we had things that we knew we wanted. We wanted it to be totally offline. That was, first of all, that was one of the things that, for various reasons, that was important to us, to have the puzzle in the box be offline. I think it actually worked out well, because so much is online nowadays that I think a lot of people appreciate things being offline. But Carolyn, the way I know how to spell, but I cannot invent puzzles. And the way she thinks of them, she'll say to me, I need a plot, I need some characters, I need some places, I need some objects, and I need an answer. And I would give her a bunch of those, and then she would take the one that appealed to her and somehow come back with these interconnected, interrelated, complex puzzles. That part I don't know how she does.
Care to elaborate?
When I give you all this stuff.
Right. In the well, I think the Will actually I think one of the things I like about our puzzles is that they're really different from the next ones. If you order the painting, it's just totally different, the kinds of puzzles that we have. I like that about, like, this is something totally new, or at least that's our goal each time. The Will, I think, is something that mostly mimics how I would do sort of Christmas with the family, where it's very interrelated, and, like, you know, mom would have to help dad and fix something that he had, and that's sort of where that idea came from. Like, that's how I sort of run the Christmas hunt. When we have those, you have to, like, wait for somebody else and, like, work together, because, you know, it's the time for family. But
Yeah.
I think that I try and think of one sort of central thing, and for the Will, it's sort of the interrelation is the central thing. I don't want to, again, also give it away, but yeah, it's the sort of the fact that at the end is one sort of central interrelated thing you have to get to as the starting point, and then I kind of try and bubble up from around there to think of clever ways to do stuff. And I will tell you, I have two young girls, and, like, the hour of bedtime when we're just sitting quietly in the room listening to music is probably my best sort of thinking time, because I can't, like, watch Netflix because I have to be quiet.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, like, fall asleep in there while they're falling asleep. So it's just sort of like this brain zone out time. And if I have an idea, I'll just write it down. And then when I come up with a sort of a central idea, I can start to sort of think of, like, based on the rooms or the areas that mom's giving me, like, how could we get it to different places? And then I honestly have a list of, like, just random floating ideas of, like, I need, like, 2 more puzzles to sort of flesh this out. Let me see what I have. And let me see what I have that I can, like, make different. So they're talking about the crossword.
Right.
Take something and just, like, make it different than
So where are you getting your puzzles from? Are they actual ones you've seen, like, elsewhere, or are they, you know, more on the innovative side? And
I think they mostly just come from the depths of my brain. They're probably.
they just come out.
Well, we'll see a puzzle that you like, and you'll sort of take that route, but then you make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like Mom said, I've been doing this for the family for a while, so often I'll be like, oh, I like the idea. Like in the Will, where it's interrelated. I like that it's interrelated. I'm gonna figure out a way to do that. And then we've been solving a lot of puzzles. So I know I'm not sure I ever say. Maybe once in a while I take something and, like, actually say I'm gonna use this and change it. But it's all in there, right? When you do puzzles for a long time.
Yeah.
It's in the back of your brain. Like, the ideas will come out.
But not everyone do that.
No, not mine.
That is why I'm like, no, they don't just pop out.
No.
You know what? So I'm a huge movie buff. Like, I watch so much stuff, and what the Will reminds me of something recently that I watched. minus like the murder and everything, is Knives Out. I don't know if you saw it with.
I did. Yes.
The family came together because of a will, and then all of a sudden they each had to interact to kind of solve something to, decode stuff. And I was like, oh, this kind of feels similar. It actually made us feel like we're part of the family. We've been brought to the house, and now we need to talk to each other to kind of share information and figure out what we needed to know.
Yeah. Except it's like a more happier ending.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not. There's no dark turn to it. It's just it felt like that.
But Rita said that she definitely appreciates stuff that are being offline.
Yeah, Rita Olaf.
I mean, like you can see that from all the drawings and crazy.
I mean that was a choice, and we also realized we needed to have hints, and we made the hints and the confirmation of the answer online, and then someone else suggested a meta puzzle, so we made that online. But. I think it comes from the fact that when Carolyn first started making puzzles, online didn't really exist. I mean, she started 25 years ago. So, and I think my background. What?
I said we used a dial-up modem and
it was too hard. And I think my background in education has been in progressive education, which is very much a hands-on, learn by doing kind of education. So I think we were very much into it needs to be you discovering.
Yeah. Sure.
So,
and I also want to say like the plot, the whole family plot, and like that's very much Mom does all the writing, and because she has that background to make you feel more immersed in the world.
Right. We definitely felt that, like the way that.
I like all the little stories that are taking you to different places when you're there, and then opening another, reveal as you go through the game. So
yeah, because one of the stories I was reading, it was so descriptive that
you were reading.
That's what it was. I was actually reading. I hate reading because I was enwrapped. I was like, wow, and then oh wow. So I was like learning this story that was very descriptive and imaginative.
Yeah. So this game really reminded me of also my high school days, by the way. I mean, I don't really know, but do people or kids these days even know what a protractor is anymore? Like, what is the X and Y axis? So I was like telling him, I was like, you know what? I felt really proud, like during that moment when I took that and I solved it, and I was like, doing my little graphy thing, and he's like, what are you doing? I mean, you do that one. We're good. Like, I'm gonna move on. I was like, you can't move on.
Well, so that had two. First of all, we made sure to include directions because Carolyn wasn't quite sure how to use the project.
Have we used this before?
But then we thought this is something that this grandmother has left, so she knows how to do it. So of course she would leave this.
Definitely makes sense. Yeah.
Sorry. So I feel like you guys also design elements that incorporated both of your careers in it a bit, coming from like an educator's background, and also there's the mathematician perspective to math problems in there, and there were a lot of educational messages too that are like good for the society, what you can do kind of thing, and that was great to see that you were able to intertwine that in there. But I mean, good thing I feel like I was still a better student than he was in a lot of these subjects. So
I was good at sports.
He's like, I'm taking over this part, and that's it. So I felt like there was a lot of what we would call like classical puzzles in there. And so how do you guys like separate out what you do at Gruzzle, like in terms of the two? It is a 2-person team, right? Like that's all you got there. Is there more?
No, there's
my dad to this meeting.
Yeah, no. My husband is the graphic designer. He does all the graphic works. He does the website. He does anything he does that.
Was that the guest appearance we had?
Yes, that was him. I told him he couldn't come.
Oops. That's cool. So you essentially 3. And so how do you guys divide the jobs? Like who does the?
Well, we know what he does. So
it's skills based, right? Carolyn creates the puzzles, and I actually she gives them. This is the will. She gives them to me like this. I don't know if you can read. It says the wallet, the safe. This is how I get them, and inside are these scraps of paper that look like this. And so I have to take it, and I'm the first tester.
They're usually handwritten or hand drawn.
Yeah. And spelled wrong. And I'm the first tester, and it's funny because some things I will just do right away, and she'll say, how did you get that? And other things she won't understand why I don't get them. So I sort of help to bring it combine her brain and my brain. And then we create an alpha version, which is when we start pulling in Chuck to create things that look a little nicer than this. And we send it out to a couple of testers. And again, we try to pick people who are good in language and good in math, and we get very different results. Then we improve the product and make all the edits and send it out to the beta testers, and same kind of result. And then we have what we hope is the final version, which Carolyn and I go through really carefully to make sure there are no errors and no mistakes. But it really is the three of us, because I can't edit the puzzle without her advice, because everything is usually you make one letter change somewhere and it ripples through so many other places.
Yeah.
And then we're constantly changing the production. Well, this didn't work, let's use this kind of paper. Like this particular puzzle is very paper based, because that just went with the theme of a will. But the one that we're doing next, the island, has a lot of props in it. And the last one had more props in it too, right? But the point is that we're all three working together all the time, because we can't change one part without changing the other parts.
Right, and I think the organizational skills definitely come into.
That's where I fit in.
Yeah.
I mean, I got these accolades there from Mom for being creative, but really I'm like scribbling on papers and being like, okay, here's crazy.
Hand drawn.
I don't show those. You kind of want to show everybody.
I know, these are all the messy things.
Carolyn, you need a big whiteboard. Just like start, doodling.
I usually draw. Mom makes fun of me for this, and I think other puzzlers do it too, who are creating puzzles. I usually draw this crazy flow chart where it's like this answer goes to this answer, and these two combine. Then you can open this envelope, and here's this. And this answer goes here, and I'm sure Mom has one somewhere there.
I don't have I have a digital version only.
And I'll be like, okay, here's how it works, and Mom will look at it and be like, what? No, I'm gonna write it this way.
Well, I have a question to add on to that. I hope I'm not jumping ahead on one of her questions. So before COVID, or even during COVID, how do you communicate when you have all these ideas? Is it through Zoom calls? Is it over the phone? Do you share a Google Drive, or is it all those things?
I'm so all those things.
I mean, usually when Carolyn gives me the puzzle, I try to take it away and solve it, because if she hovers over me, she can't help but give me hints, and I don't want the hints.
That's true.
But before COVID, we were together all the time. But even now, we Zoom a lot.
Really close to each other, so we can still come by and drop off things.
Yeah, I'll drop off a box and say, okay, here it is. Check this out. We'll leave it on the porch and run away.
She's probably like, bring me dinner too.
Yeah. No, you have to solve puzzles to open up your dinner. Oh, that's Carolyn. That's what Carolyn would do for you.
Yes.
So we haven't played your first game of painting, but can you tell the audience a bit about the backstory, in case if anyone wants to play it? I don't really know, it's because it says sold out on the website, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it did, because we had no idea how many to make, and we've actually made more. And
would you restock it or no?
Yes, and we've made more, and we're kind of focusing on getting this one out on Monday, and then hopefully on Tuesday we can put up the paintings that we've made and the wills that we still have left, which I don't know yet how many we'll have, but yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I was just wondering, like, for the audience who haven't played, and then we've started playing the second episode first, but does it matter if you play the first episode or not? They have no correlation.
No, they have the whole premise of the Gruzzle company is that people have mysteries in their lives, and they come to Gruzzle as for help. And so everybody that comes brings their own case. So each case is totally independent of every other case. We ended up making the meta puzzles that you get to after you've completed the box be continuous, just to add an extra element. But that's not something you need to participate in.
Oh, okay. But you have a monthly subscription, so let's say
it's every 2 months. Every 2 months.
Okay, but would they still get that first box though if they subscribe?
No, the boxes start when you sign up.
So there's no way to, so let's say we solve the ending meta puzzle for the will. There's no way to find out what the first part was for the painting,
unless you get the painting, which we're restocking.
Right.
But the painting is.
I jumped over her question. I knew I was going to do it this time.
But the painting is very different. The painting is a classic. Someone stole a painting. You got to find it kind of puzzle. It also
we started out with that because that's sort of where everything trended. And we sort of added our own personality, more of like slightly silly. I feel like the plot of the will is slightly tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our style.
And the third one, which is I start work on next week, but the third one is called The Island, and again, the plot is that someone finds an envelope hidden in a building that no one knew was there. They didn't know the envelope was there, and when they open the envelope, they realize that it's a packet of material that will lead them to a hidden treasure, and it's been left behind for 50 years, and so these people are like, well, let's try and find out where this takes us. So it's, again, a totally different...
Yeah, that's always a great, great thing.
So, I mean, like, here comes our secret phrase reveal moment. For anyone who would like to try the will game for free, try your luck by entering the phrase, show me the money.
Show me! Oh, you have to scream it out, show me the money!
Yeah. And then to be entered in the raffle. And as always, if you miss the live stream, our video will be posted on YouTube IGTV for you to watch at your convenience at a later time.
Yeah.
And you can enter that until, I guess, this 24, before our episode 24. Yes.
Before the end of the year. Definitely before the end of the year.
So in terms of the style of play, it was also quite new to us, since normally when we, get our envelopes, we're very careful with instructions on when we can open them. And, clearly we did not read carefully this time. I didn't know that we have to open all of them at the same time. And then I was like reaching out to Vicki. I was like, oh my God, I'm missing stuff. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Okay. So then there were definitely components in there that are like also reusable. We had to like mix different trails and follow different storylines. When you're coming up with this idea, was it quite difficult to decide like which envelope would contain what material and what was the right moment to reveal things? Because it does get quite mixed up, especially when you're like, just go. Like, I'm not going to give you any instructions. Oh. Yeah,
there was one point she was like, I didn't get it. She didn't give it to me. And then she searched everywhere except for inside the envelopes. It was like, all right, we can't open these.
Well, because I was like, I don't want to, spoil anything. Like, I wasn't sure.
But they weren't sealed.
They weren't.
That's true. That's true.
We were like,
start with 3 things to open. It's because
that is unusual
in this thing.
Yeah.
It's usually sort of like, here's the box of stuff.
Yeah.
To start with. Yeah, but this one definitely had 3 because there were 3 kids, and so the theory is that each kid gets their own thing, and you talk to each one in whatever order you want.
So you would have to be really careful, right? Like, which idea came first, and then what would open second, and then third, fourth, fifth, and then
right. This one was definitely complicated. I think writing the hints was complicated because you don't know what order people are going to start to solve anything in, and so you have to write the hints in a way that doesn't mess up something else. This was probably the most complicated to write the hints for because of those sort of 3 entry points.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that you had like 20 hints for one puzzle. Right? You're like, I'm going to give you a little bit. No, maybe a little more.
I think that was the most we've ever seen for just...
I was like, this is great. I think by hint 5, I might get it. So I might not have to go down.
But that's a lot of hand-holding, but it was great to see that.
But that's what we don't like puzzles where you go to the hints and it tells you the answer. We want to push.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. So to Angela's question, no, the caps do not give you a better chance to win, but you are in.
You're automatically in, Angela. Nice try.
So by the way, if anyone has any questions for them, definitely
feel free to chime in and we'll relay those over to
you. Oh, do you want to read the next one?
So I saw a social media post of when you guys shipped your first game versus the amount of orders that you're getting for your second game. I think it more than doubled, and then well, that's always great. And congratulations, by the way. But how are you controlling your inventory at this point? And does your second game also have a limited run where if you sell out of it, you won't restock again? I think this is going back to the painting a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard.
In her closet,
this whole closet is full of stuff. I mean, we're trying to make more than we think we're going to sell, but we're also trying to sell more all the time.
Yeah.
And the goal is if we run out, we just order more stuff and make more and restock. I mean, my goal is to keep restocking, but at the same time, I got to keep getting the next one ready. This is partly why we make them every 2 months, because it's a lot. It's just me, and that takes a lot of time to do all that. So. Yeah, I mean, I just guessed for this.
I've
for
also,
What was that quantity, by the way?
You wouldn't restock. I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want to keep restocking. You just don't want to like have 10,000 protractors in your house.
Right.
Waiting for something.
Right. I have no reason not to keep making them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
sorry.
I feel like when you're getting these, are you just doing it by the pre-order amount you're getting, or you're also kind of letting a little bit extra there?
No, so a lot of the things that we order are cheaper in bulk. So we try to buy the cheapest, but we don't want 250. We might only want 125. So, but then maybe we do want 250. So we're sort of always guessing.
Yeah.
But
There's
we
definitely
do.
more than the orders. It's just a delicate balance.
Well, especially it's the first one too, so you
Yeah.
kind of know what the market is for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So currently, where are your games being shipped to? Like, we have a lot of international followers who would like to know, like, would you have future plans to ship to their country?
So maybe you can answer this for me. We've been asked by several people in international locations, and we've discovered that if we send them 2 at a time, it's much cheaper than if we send them 1 at a time. But we're really a new company, and I don't really understand the customs part of that. So
And
that's
just size. But
Yeah.
you are shipping international already?
we
or-
have not yet, but people have asked me, and I said, well, okay, now we're going to have 2. We could ship these first 2 to you, and it's not ridiculously expensive. It's about $5 a box, but internationally it's about $10 or $15 a box, so it's more.
Yeah.
But they're
So I
saying if you ship them separately, it's actually less costly to them custom-wise.
I don't know. This is just the postage. See, I don't really understand the whole customs thing. But yeah, if I ship 1 box to England, it's, oh gosh, it was $20, so it's $20 a box. If I ship 2 boxes to England, it was $30, which cuts it down to $15. It was, the more I shipped, the cheaper it got, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay. I mean, like, we have a lot of creators in the puzzle group.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
would
we can
definitely
always-
be able to help out with this.
Yeah, that do ship
Questions.
internationally.
Yeah.
Are all your boxes the same? Well, they're all the same size, right?
Yeah.
Are they? They're not the same weight though.
No, but they're all about a pound.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
it's not
always
that-
something they
It's not
consider.
that big, so.
Yeah.
Good to know. So hopefully in the future you will be on the,
Yeah, it's really just us trying to figure out the logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So when we thought we were, done with the game, you surprised that was that bonus puzzle that we probably expected it to be like a mini puzzle that was going to take us like a few minutes to complete.
Nope.
But then it ended up discovering more and more, and then it just kept going for another 20 minutes or so. Are you planning a big finish for the people who are going to purchase like all 6 games? I'm assuming that's how many you're going to have like for this season, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So with the meta puzzle at the end, is that going to be like another game component, or more like a final finish of a storyline? Or if they're purchasing like all of the games, but then they're sold out right now. So how can they complete that meta puzzle if they don't complete that purchase of 6 games?
So that's why we're definitely going to restock. This because yes, you do have to buy the year's worth of 6 games to be able to solve the meta puzzle. You shouldn't, knock on wood, be able to solve it without getting to all
6. She worked really hard at that.
Right.
Oh, so you already have an ending.
Oh yes. So you can't design something with 6 parts
Right.
unless you know.
Nice.
I mean, yes, you have the.
games too.
Pardon?
Right.
Well, it's not the games. It's really just whatever that final word that's adding on to it.
No, but they also have 3 other games coming out as well.
Oh, actually, that's a good question. I mean, do you have ideas for the remaining?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. She's given me all. Where's
Yes. We have.
She dropped them off.
On scrap paper exists.
this is game number 5.
Ah,
Prototype.
that's how it goes.
So no, we have all 6 games done, but only the first 2 are ready to ship. So.
Ah, okay, got
Okay.
it. And then, so it's a 6 game plus the meta puzzle. So it is a meta puzzle,
Yeah.
Right.
not just like an ending to a story or something.
Yeah. Right. It's separate.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. It just seemed like I felt like if you were a Gruzzle fan and you got all, then you should get like an extra something.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what it felt like, that last meta puzzle? A big box with a smaller box inside and a smaller one inside. And the more we kept opening, it was like, where does this go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that going to be like another a few hours of playtime, or just like a mini one that's
I feel like most of the meta puzzles follow the same kind of structure.
okay?
As each other.
As each other, as each other. There's sort of like a main and then a second, and then you get like a thing at the end, and then those will all combine. And then I'm not sure we've completely worked out, because it's so far in the future, when those all combine and you get something, then what happens?
What happens, yeah.
Something will happen. But that's, like I said, that's sort of
that's the part where you're like, you have to buy all 6 games to find out.
Did you, Cece, did you figure out the answer?
Oh yeah. So I mean, at least now we have the correct answers to go along with, but then we have to figure out that final answer. Yeah, we're definitely gonna go into that, and then that's gonna take us another 30 minutes.
Well, I think, now we know the method of how to decode it. So. Our last question for you is: we know that your new game, The Island.
Well, she already told us about that, the Sword Island,
right.
which was pretty much like finding the treasure at a certain location.
Right, so but in terms of difficulty level for The Island compared to the other 2, like what would you say, like out of the 3 that you, or the 2 that you have already out in Island, is like from easiest?
Does it progress, or hardest? Is it just?
No. See, I find this a really hard question to answer, and we actually put it on our facts page on the website because we have so many different types of puzzles in each game.
Yeah.
It really depends. It's kind of like an escape room. When we go to an escape room, Carolyn and I and friends, we try to take all these people that are not like us because we want to be able to get all the different perspectives. And so I think this is like this too. I think if you were to try to do one of these on your own, it would be harder unless you have every single skill. Yeah. And it's better if you have people who think differently than you do, because they'll see things you don't. And I think each puzzle is like that. I think they're probably equal hardness.
I think we try and make them equal hardness. And I wanted to say before that each one is very much in its own little plot. We didn't sort of talk about that. Like, yes, if there is an overarching plot, and there's not besides the Gruzzle agency, but each one is like, if this is about the will, then they're all going to be sort of things that maybe someone would lead you in their will. Or if this is going to be about the painting, then they're all sort of about that. So like within their own boxes, the plot's very contained and thematic to itself. But I think I try and make the same number of puzzles. It's hard to count number of puzzles. One thing that is consistent is the going back to something you've already used. That's consistent throughout all of our puzzles. So it's hard to count how many puzzles we have, but I try and make it the number consistent and the variation consistent. So they're probably the same difficulty, but like Mom said, if you're going to be different, different people will find them easy or hard based on their sort of how they're.
Yeah, we always find it. We're always curious on how people determine what that difficulty level is. Like our reviews, we put a difficulty level based on how many players. But if it's not just us two and we're playing with other people, after we play, we talk about it, and then we figure out like which parts were difficult, which parts were made sense.
Yeah, but we always put it's based on what we thought.
What we thought and how many players.
It would be different from everybody else.
We have one that's in testing now, and I feel like our first testers, who are very much engineers. No, I was going to say our first testers are engineers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they just kind of flew through it. They're like, that was great. And then we sent it to our sort of more language testers, and they had so many problems. And we're like, So
it's now out with the third set of testers. Yeah, because each time we get it back, we try to edit it. We don't want to make it easier, but we want to make it more accessible for everybody. So
I think it's good to have a good mix of different skill sets. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, we are almost at our trivia segment.
I think we're at our trivia segment.
Yeah, but I mean, we're going to announce that phrase again for anyone who's interested in winning a puzzle.
Yeah, all right, fine. Let's go.
It's taking off the screen. I was like, people need to win.
All right, so our secret phrase is "Show me the money."
Enter the raffle for the will. It's actually a very like the puzzle that I feel like when we're working on that one, I feel like it was taking back in time instead of doing all these digital ones that we've been doing for this long time now. And I was very glad I didn't have to look at the computer screen for like a few hours. And let your eyes rest.
Yeah, we'll bring this back up before the end of the show, but right now we are going to play our game, and with these ladies, I hope you're ready, because it is called
Think or Drink.
Think or Drink.
I think the rated PG version.
Yes.
Because we're going for tea and coffee today.
We are all drinking non-alcoholic beverages, including myself.
Except for Angela. Angela is so drinking.
Yeah, Angela's probably drinking for all of us right now. But I'm drinking something that's really, really on the it's not even on the rocks. It's more neat. It's a can of Diet Coke. It's a can of Diet Coke. There you go.
Really gonna come out with anything special to join in with the tea.
Like I said, we are in an undisclosed location right now. We do not have access to any alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, sure.
So, do you care to share what you are drinking?
Oh, I have my chai tea, which I drink multiple times a day.
Oh, wow. Is that iced or hot?
No, it's hot. I've had the lid on it.
Okay. And Carolyn, what do you?
I also have tea. I have an oolong, which is hot. And I brought my good luck charm, so we're ready. So you ready?
See, we did this all wrong. She's the tea drinker. She should have been one drinking.
Charm too.
Oh, awesome.
Mine's on the floor.
Charm. All right.
All right. So we're gonna start the first question off. They have 10 seconds from after we ask the questions to give us an answer. If they get it right, then we drink, or I drink this Diet Coke. If they get it wrong, they will be sipping. Let's not burn our tongues. Sipping the hot tea.
Yeah.
All right. First question is.
Okay. First question. In the help letter in Frederick's envelope, which friend's name was only mentioned once?
These are your questions, Carol.
No, what? In the help letter, which friend's name was only mentioned?
Yeah, so Stephen, Ashton.
Oh my gosh.
You remember those guys? I don't.
Yep. I have no idea.
Those guys.
All I remember is Ashton. Austin.
Yeah.
Francis.
We'll go with Francis.
Well, is that the final answer?
I think that's true. Sure, yes.
I do closer with the other one.
The Ashton. Mentioned only once.
Remember, sip. Do not. This is not a
No chugging.
Yeah, I apologize for that countdown, but you do have 10 seconds. There we go. So the second question for you is, and if our guests know any answers, please help them out.
They never help.
They don't help, but we put it out there.
Angela is already sipping her wine.
What is the first symbol on the transparent graph paper, X or Y axis? What shape?
These are hard questions.
I can look it up.
So an up and down U. One of those U's.
I was going to say a U, but is it the? I think it's the
right side up U.
Upside down U.
Is it?
Yeah, very good. Okay, let's try this drink that I've never had before. No,
can't even chug it. Then you might let out a big
No, we're not belching on this show. I'm pulling it down.
All right, third question. What is Dolores' middle name spelled backwards?
Dolores Willingsgate, right? ETAGSGNILLIW.
Woo, nice.
She should be like on those little shows that spell things backwards.
We should have had Carolyn spell it.
Yes.
She's like,
no way.
You did the questions wrong. Carolyn, she did the math question. Right.
Yeah, they're taking their straight.
I know. All right, so our fourth question is, what company name is on the safe? Bonus points if you know the location.
The location of the name of the company?
Yeah, the city has like a name.
Was it like Cincinnati or something? Did you ever look at the envelope?
No. I figured.
Do we want to venture or a guess?
She says Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati?
That was my city, but I don't remember the name. Safeco.
Well, yes.
We'll both drink.
Okay.
AOA,
Safeco, Blackwell, Oklahoma.
Cheers.
Cincinnati, but totally different.
Okay. This one should be a good easy one. Okay. So what color ribbons are found in Felicity's envelope?
Felicity blue.
Oh,
she's like, I stuff envelopes every day.
Well, if you want to know how many, I had to make those by hand. You know how long that took?
Wow.
800 ribbons.
800.
Wasn't it about 800? Anyway.
Usually the answers for those questions are the people that are doing most of the packing and it's
Right.
I look at this all day, every day.
Bonus question.
We do have a bonus question for you, and
You both can chime in for this one because we were like, what?
and don't worry, I'm gonna let the time go, but you, obviously after 10 seconds, keep thinking about your answer. Can you give me a 7-letter pounder?
Race car.
Give it up for our guest. Thank you for playing Pick a Drink with us.
It's the word puzzles.
Yeah. We have another one that she jotted down, a reviver.
Ooh.
Deify. Repaper. Rotator.
Ooh, rotator.
Some good ones you can use.
Yeah, she's like reusable.
Yeah, but you won't ever see palindromes again. That's one thing Carolyn does is she never repeats.
Ah, okay.
Well, big praise. We'll see if I can live up to that.
Well, you haven't repeated yet.
We'll check back on game number 10.
Yeah.
All right, so one more time, 10% code rumors in lowercase for the whale. You have until November 11th to use that code. Also,
November 1st.
Oh, sorry, November 1st. Sorry.
Adding dates. Like,
Show me the money is your secret phrase to enter into the raffle for the whale, and we will announce the winner in episode 24.
yes. Well, thank you so much, ladies. This was so much fun.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
thank you for everyone who tuned in. Once again, it's probably typical for everybody to get in at the time of the live show, but it will be available on our IGTV and YouTube to watch after.
And Facebook.
Can we say one more thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We are going to have a Kickstarter next year, so tell everyone to pay attention for our Kickstarter.
Oh, that's one of our questions. Is any future updates from Gruzzle that you can announce? So that's one of them. Is that one of them, or is that the one?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the
We're
one.
trying to sort of a Gruzzle Junior. We have a lot of sort of kids of people who want to participate, so we're really excited about making.
But this wasn't a Kickstarter, right?
No, this has all been personally financed, which is why now we need a Kickstarter.
Okay, so the next one is going to be Gruzzle Kids. That's going to be.
Yeah,
That would be our next project, hopefully to come out every other month.
Yeah. It's like, I don't have vacation days anymore after this. After the start.
Yeah, I mean, we'll if you pass that information to us, we'll also share that as well.
Yeah, once you have the announcement, definitely let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
Give it up for our guest. Thank you so much for joining us for Behind the MasterMinds. It was great to get to know Gruzzle a lot better and to play your game as well.
Thank you.
Next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
For me to choose, 2 hits left for me to use, 1 hit left for me to move. Time is running out, gotta figure something out. 3 hits left for me to choose, 2 hits left for me to use, 1 hit left for me to move. Time is running out, gotta figure something out.